Hey, and welcome back to Horsemanship 101 again. Today we're going to talk about focus, but this time it's not about the horse's focus, although I have talked about that in the past, and that is extremely important because if the horse is focused on you, it's not going to be too concerned about anything else that's going on around it. That's why it's important to have your horse's focus. But equally important is your focus, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, your focus, that can actually cover an awful lot of ground. We're going to cover a little bit of it today. Now, first off, when you're working with a horse, you should be focused on the horse. You should be paying attention to the horse. You should not be talking to your friends at the barn. You should not be playing with your phone. Put the thing away, will you? You know, it can wait. The text message, that email, that phone call, you can get to it later. Pay attention to the horse. Focus on the horse. Whether you're riding it or doing groundwork with it, focus on the horse because it's got lots to say if you're listening, and you can't listen if you're not focused. Okay, so that's an important part of you being focused. Now, the other part of you being focused is what are you focused on specifically with that horse? Now, not just, the horse itself. She's being a brat today. Usually she's very nice to that one. In fact, that is actually the dominant one of these two, believe it or not, even though she's half the size. But anyhow, you can easily focus on the negative, or you could focus on the positive. And this is more where we're going to be going with this one, is when it comes to your horse, you can look at, oh man, I got this problem, I got that problem, I got so far to go, I got so many things to fix. That's very negative. Or you can look at the positive, how far they've come. Now, that little girl there, she's a bit of a mess still. By a lot of people's standards, they'd take a look at that horse and they'd have a pretty negative opinion of her. I don't, because I know where she came from. I know how far she has come, and I am extremely pleased with her progress. I see the positive in that little horse, and I'm really, really happy with her. She's a great little horse. This one here, well, she's a bit of a knucklehead sometimes, but she's also extremely intelligent, very pretty, and very teachable. Great horse, actually. I focus on the positive, not the negative. I don't focus on all the goofy things she does, which are quite a few. And, she's not necessarily a great example of a good horse. Even this one, well, similar thing. When I first got her, hard to catch, very nervous and spooky. She's come miles. Is she perfect? No, she's got a long ways to go yet. But I don't look at that stuff. I don't worry about it. We'll get to it when we get to it. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on how far she has come. I'm going to focus on all her good qualities, and she does have some good qualities. This is a wonderful horse. She's very sweet, gentle, willing, smart, learns quick. She's learned to do a lot of things better than those other two that have been doing it a lot longer. Not bad. So that's another aspect of your focus, but it's not just about horses. Now, you can take this lesson and apply it to just about anything in life. And, you can look at the positive or you can look at the negative. You can take your choice what you're going to focus on. And all too often, people in general tend to focus on the negative. I don't know why, but, particularly on social media, if somebody posts a video or something, there's always somebody that's got some criticism, something to say about it. Somebody's doing something wrong. Guaranteed. Very seldom that you're going to ever hear anything positive of it. And that's just the general nature of people. It seems to be far easier to criticize others than it is to look in the mirror at what you're doing and how you can improve yourself and your relationship with your horse or whatever. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with horses. But I'm going to play you a little video for you in just a minute here. And because, it does have a horse in it, so kind of appropriate, but I really could use any one of a number of other videos. I've seen it shared several times on social media, and the comments are always very, very similar. Not a single positive one, all negative. Well, I'll let you watch the video for yourself, and you can decide for yourself, is it a positive video or a negative video? and I'm going to talk about it a little bit because I think it is a prime example of the human nature and the difference between focusing on the positive and the negative, because it's a great little video that I think is packed full of positive stuff, and yet for some strange reason, every time somebody shares it, there's just a ridiculous number of negative comments, not one positive one on it, but I'm going to let you look at it for yourself. So bear with me here, and we'll watch a video, okay? Okay, as promised, we're going to watch a little video here. And, well, to make a point, first thing I'm going to do is just play it through and let you decide for yourself what you think about it and see what you notice about it. Obviously, first off, there's a guy with a motorcycle helmet on a horse. Let's see what else there is. Oh, and I've left the audio muted because there really isn't much to say, to hear. Mostly you're going to hear the girl behind the camera giggling. And what little you hear spoken, it's in a foreign language that, well, foreign as in other than English. And so you're probably not going to be able to understand it anyhow. Okay, it's a rather short video, and so we can afford to play it twice. I've seen it shared a number of times, and the interesting thing about it is whenever I see it shared, the comments are always very, very similar. And, well, I'm going to run through this and, kind of point out some of the things that first off, one of the first comments, and please excuse the quality of this video too, because Facebook has changed things so you can't run their videos full screen, and this is a Facebook video. I'll tell you a little bit more about the source in a minute, but I've actually seen a couple different versions of it. This one's been shortened down a tiny bit, and there is a little piece at the end I'm going to talk about because it's really important. But first thing you're going to notice, the guy's wearing a motorcycle helmet on a horse. And, well, I got to admit, first time I watched this video, I had a little chuckle because it looks kind of funny. But if you think about some of the things that I talk about being flexible and improvising, using what you got, and that sort of thing. I think maybe they did exactly what I talk about, because there is a possibility, because we don't know all the details, maybe the girl has a helmet, maybe it doesn't fit him, or maybe they don't have a helmet at all, but he wanted to wear one. Possibly he arrived on a motorcycle. This is his personal helmet. He's comfortable with that helmet. It fits his head. And I've ridden motorcycles and raced a few cars, and I can attest to the quality of this helmet that this guy is wearing. What he's got on there is very similar to what guys wear when they're racing cars at over 200 miles an hour. Now, those helmets actually are a little bit better quality, but not a whole lot. These helmets are made to be used on the roadways. They're built, in most countries, they're made to very high standards. There are very strict standards that they have to adhere to when they manufacture these things. Compared to an equestrian helmet, this thing is far superior. It will actually come down further on the sides and the neck, even if it was an open-faced helmet, and there's a couple different kinds. This is a full-face helmet, which actually has a piece around the front that also gives a little protection there to the face included. So you got a thicker shell, thicker padding, much higher standards of construction. Compared to an equestrian helmet, this thing is far, far superior. As far as helmets in general that are available to the general public, this is about as good as it gets. So, to start with, is it look a little funny? well, maybe it's a little out of place on somebody on a horse, but that's where it ends. Looks. That's it. As far as the function of this helmet, honestly, couldn't get much better, really. Also, we need to put some context with this video here. In the first place, it's a spur-of-the-moment thing, which, again, is probably why he's wearing this helmet. And the girl put him on a horse. This is the guy's first time on the horse because he said, horseback riding isn't a sport. It's easy. You just sit on the horse and let the horse do all the work. Well, I'm sure at some point you're going to hear that, or you've already heard that kind of a statement. And well, in this poor guy's defense, some people do make it look pretty darn easy. I'm not one of those people, though. So, to start with, the helmet. Looks funny? Maybe, but that's where it ends. Looks. Context to this video. The girl, presumably the one on the ground, put this guy on a horse because he made the comment that horseback riding is easy. Now, every time I saw this video shared, there was always a whole bunch of comments on it, and all of them negative. Not a single one positive. To start with, most of them made fun of his helmet. Well, like I said, looks. That's the only problem. Other than that, as far as function goes, that's about as good as you're going to get. That helmet is probably 50 times superior to any equestrian helmet you're going to buy. Now, other comments that people made was to do with the guy's horrible riding. Well, of course it's horrible. He's never been on a horse before in his life. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made that dumb statement in the first place. And if you watch this thing, you'll notice the death grip he's got on the front of that saddle. Well, clearly he's way out of his comfort zone. He's never done this before, but guess what? He got on the horse. So, again, more good stuff. He got on the horse. Now, if you watch walk, trot, and canter on his first ride, hey, this dude's got some guts. And his sense of balance actually isn't all that bad, considering that his his riding style is really not very attractive. Walk, trot, and canter. First ride, the guy didn't fall off. Honestly, I think this guy's got a little potential, too, because during this last little segment, if you noticed, he lost his stirrup. I'm going to run this again while I'm talking about it, but he actually lost that stirrup during the canter, and yet he didn't fall off. So I honestly think this guy has got some potential. I do believe that given some time and some instruction, this guy might actually turn out to be a not bad rider. But, of course, everybody had to make fun of his riding. And look, yeah, it does look pretty bad. Come on. But put it in context again. A lot of people said his horrible riding is hurting that horse. Well, for the few seconds long that this video is, I don't know how long the guy was actually on the horse, but I don't think it was very long. And for that short little bit of time, I doubt very much he hurt the horse. He doesn't look to be a particularly big guy. I don't think he's putting a whole lot of strain on that horse. And I actually did do a little creeping on the Facebook page of the girl that owns the horse that posted this video, which I found in a group. And that horse is a jumper. And I can assure you that the impact of that horse landing is far, far greater than the impact of that very poor rider on his back. So I don't believe that horse is being stressed at all. Watching that horse, its head and its ears and everything else, I don't see any indication that that horse is particularly unhappy with the situation. Now, moving along, more good stuff. Aside from the fact this guy did a walk, trot, and canter on his very first ride, which blows me away. And he's clearly out of his comfort zone. Look at the death grip he's got on that horse, that saddle, and yet he still got on. He got on there in the first place. Good stuff. He did a walk, trot, and canter on his first ride. Good stuff. And I want to talk about a little piece of the end of this video that's missing in this version. Right here, they stop. He regains his stirrup, and then he says, okay, let's go again. And they continue on. He doesn't quit. He doesn't get off. And, the guy's got some guts. more positive stuff. Let's talk a little bit about that horse. Again, like I said, that's a jumping horse. That's a well-educated, well-trained horse. Watching it in this video, the horse is very well behaved, knows what it's doing. This is an excellent horse for his first ride. The girl on the ground, although everybody criticized her for not giving him some instruction prior to putting him on a horse, well, that was kind of the whole point of the video. He didn't think he needed any, so she says, okay, fine, get on the horse. Should she have given him some instruction? Well, in a best case scenario, yeah, but she was making a point. And so there's another positive in this video is she succeeded in making the point that she attempted to make. Now, I want to say another good thing about the girl on the ground. I do believe that's her horse. And she obviously knows what she's doing, too, because she has complete control over that horse. She controls its speed, walk, trot, and canter, and stop. Everything perfectly well. So, excellent horse, excellent handler. The rider, he's got guts enough to get on. Helmet, well, does the job. Couldn't get any better. And something else I noticed too is it's all done in a contained space. It's not a round pen, but it looks like a small fenced-in area. That's best case scenario for a first ride. I mean, I'm not seeing anything negative in this video, in spite of the fact every time that somebody shares it, there's absolutely nothing about negative comments on it. And that's why I decided to choose this video, because it is relatively short, and yet it is such an excellent example of this video is just absolutely loaded with good stuff, and yet people found tons and tons of negative things to say about. I didn't read a single positive comment. All I ever saw was negative stuff, and yet every time I watch this thing, I see good stuff. I see more of it. I see a lot of it. The fact that that is the best helmet you can get. The guy's got the guts to get on the horse in the first place. He does a walk, trot, and canter without falling off. He's got an excellent horse there that is in very good shape, and it is trained for jumping. So having a bad rider on its back really isn't going to hurt it. It's in good shape. It's used to the hard impact of landing from a jump. Great horse there. Handler on the ground. I believe she's the owner of the horse. Obviously knows what she's doing. She has full control over the horse. I'm actually kind of jealous that this guy got to do this first time off. I wasn't so lucky. I think as far as first time on a horse, this is probably about as good as it gets. Good horse, good handler. A horse is actually being controlled by the handler. All the rider has to do is stay on the horse. It's in a controlled environment. He's got a great helmet. I mean, really. Well, that's kind of the point of what I want to talk about is, what are you looking at? The good or the bad? Great little video here, in my opinion. Lots of good. I don't see any bad. Actually, the only thing that I could pick out bad is the way the guy's dressed. Wearing shorts and sneakers on a horse. I don't think that's a good idea, but, maybe where they live is obviously not in an English-speaking country. Maybe where they are, that's, acceptable. Also, there's a possibility that the guy showed up dressed like that and wasn't prepared for this. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing, and so, that's what he happened to have on, so that's what he wore while he got on the horse. So I think there's a little more to the story we don't know about. We can't jump to conclusions, make assumptions, and, look at the negatives. And that is about the only negative thing that I can even find in this entire video. Other than that, I think this is a great video. I think that guy's got potential to be a great rider. I think this was a great first ride. I think it was all well done. The video itself, what took place in it, the girl made her point. So what are you looking at, the good or the bad? Positive or negative? It's up to you. What's your focus? Have a good day.